You know what? This is what I love too. It's exciting. It's like you're on a treasure hunt for something and you just don't know what you're gonna find. Like, that gets my heart pulsating. I love it. I had a real estate meeting yesterday and the gentleman's like, I owned rental properties before, but it never really got me super excited. I go, it can be exciting, depends on what you're doing, but if you're just buying and holding, you shouldn't have to have that like pulsating and that, heart, pumping environment, because it's a very strategic long-term investment. So it's not like you're walking into like a casino and you're putting down, $1 million on red or black and you're waiting for this amazing thing to occur. In a calculated strategic investment, you don't have to have that, pulsating. It's very calculated, it's calm. I don't need my heart rate to get explosive, but I do get excited to come out to these properties and you're like, wow, this is better than expected. It feels good. But here's the kicker. How does the inside look? Let's see what's inside. So right now we're heading up to new potential acquisition. I don't want to call it an acquisition until I know definitively it's an actual buy. I own a home one street directly south of this, eight houses away, so very familiar with the neighborhood. We always want to stay on top of the comparables, the comps, to determine what the current market value is. Things can fluctuate on a monthly, weekly, annual basis, of course. So you always want to keep abreast of what are the homes trading for, what's the same model, same year built, red brick construction, or whatever you're analyzing. You want to compare apples to apples. Don't take a 1976 home and compare it to 2010 construction, because it's completely different construction. They may be in the same subdivision, but it's completely different property and valuation. So this particular home, the wholesaler wants $172,500 for the home. It's probably worth, on a good day, full market value, $220,000. So you have about a $47,000 rough spread. The roof and the AC, I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going out there. I always go out to all of my properties. Why do I do that? Again, you can order a pizza online, you know what you're gonna get. You don't have to go out and inspect the cheese in the kitchen and make sure the bread is good. For $9.95, if you don't like the pizza, you throw it out. But on a house where you're spending $50, $100, $200, X amount of thousands of dollars, if you're not agile enough and proactive to go out and motivated to go see what you're spending your money on for those kinds of dollars, then you're crazy, or you're too wealthy and you should just keep your money and just put it in an interest account. For those of you looking to build wealth strategically and want to stay on top of your game, get out of your house, get in your car, go look at the assets, drive the neighborhoods, look at the comparable properties, and get full analytics. So what I'm gonna do when I go out there, again, relook at the neighborhood as I go in there, look at the intangibles. How does it feel? What kind of cars are the neighbors driving? How is the maintenance and the neighborhood maintaining the properties? I'm gonna look at those, again, those intangibles to make the determination if people are coming in and they're putting money into the homes and they're maintaining, and hopefully valuations will continue to go up, or does it look like the market is deteriorating? I want to get a good sense of how do I feel coming into that. And then from there, of course, I'm going to look at the actual asset, the one in question, whether I'm buying or not, and I'm going to say to myself, hey, self, how much does this property need in terms of rehab? Does it need a kitchen? Boom, I put my number on it. Does it need paint? Does it need carpet? Does it need any sort of framing, ductwork, windows, appliances, bathrooms, countertops, baseboards? I go through all the numbers quickly in my head so that I can give an answer definitively to this wholesaler who is waiting for me to give them an answer. And I promised them by today, by 5 o'clock. Right now it's 3:55, so we will, in the next hour, make a big buy decision for $172,500, and that's what the guy's looking for. I told him on the phone I'd probably be max at $170, but again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know for sure. But we'll go out there and give a full analysis. I'll tell you what I'm thinking as I'm walking through, whether I buy the deal, I don't buy the deal. And again, if it doesn't need that much, then it may be a deal. If it needs a lot, then it's going to be too tight. If I can't make at least 10% net on my money, then it will not be a deal. So $172,500 plus closing costs, call it $174,000, $175,000, then I won't buy the deal. So $174,000, and let's say I put in $30,000 and it's only worth $220,000, no deal. If I can put in $20,000, it'll be close to being a deal. So when you look at the math, you got to think about, it's not just, hey, $172,500, I put in $192,500 plus closing costs, I sell for $220,000. I don't make the spread of the difference there, because you have selling costs, you have holding costs, you have insurance, you have utilities. There's all these intervening costs that no one really thinks about. You're just thinking, how much does the house need? Okay, well, what's the cost of the capital going in there? Yes, I use cash, but it's from a line of credit. How much does that line of credit cost? So let's say you use a basic number of 6%. Every single month at $200,000, that's $1,000 in interest of carrying costs. Simple math, 200,000 at 6% is $12,000. $12,000 is $1,000 per month. So there is a real tangible cost of those dollars that if you say, hey, I'm going to carry this house for at least 90 days, which most of these homes are, then guess what? You need to factor in $3,000 for carrying costs. How much is insurance? $600, $700 for the year. You know, so all these things come into play. Turning on utilities, what's the cost? Turning them off. We saw today containers at my last house. You know, you always think, oh, I just need one container, or I'll just dump it and get, you know, my landscaper to throw a load out for $100. Not always the case, you know, especially when you're doing cabinets and floors, there's a container right there. So you really have to legitimately understand the numbers, the cost of the remodels when you're analyzing your acquisition down to a penny, and make the determination, does it fit your business model? What are you hoping to get in terms of an annual yield or a yield on that property? Me, it's 10%. Maybe you want to make 20%. Maybe you only want to make 6%. So make sure that you run a pro forma or an analysis in a spreadsheet that breaks down the acquisition price, your closing costs, your selling fees, and all the material costs of construction, your cost of capital. Put the full budget together. Once you do it once or twice, it's easy because you can now just plug in the new acquisition cost, the numbers, and then run that pro forma again. But get yourself set up on a good analysis to make sure that that acquisition will meet or exceed your expectation in terms of return on investment. One nice thing is you pull up, you got good parking off to the side, you got nice landscaping, you got a little gate to the left with additional parking. People like that. When you just look on the maps, you don't know what's traditionally out here, but to have additional parking with RV gates, always excellent for people and very higher in demand in terms of people who want to rent and buy. So it gives you a lot more flexibility with cars, making sure that you're in compliance with code, because you can't park on grass, the city's all over you. If you have extra parking, huge bonus, always something to look for in these properties. Another tip, make sure the lock boxes are visible and go from there. It's like a surgeon opening you up. You kind of know what you're thinking, but you never know what you're gonna find. Here we go. Nice smell of smoke, that's for sure, coming in here. This is what you don't see on camera, but you walk in, the outside's super nice. Floors are okay, but certainly needs a nice update on the kitchen. Definitely smells like smoke in here. You smell the smoke?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely strong. Needs some appliances, no dishwasher, very old cabinetry of course, but all this comes out and ready to go. Okay, so you got a little front entry. You got some, this could be another bedroom per se, right? You could add this, or you have, you know, another living room, but you're walking in the front door, so most likely this is just going to be a main room. I would do all new texture. You got different kinds of texture throughout here. Clearly you're missing some doors, or maybe open up this whole thing. But the paint's not horrible, but it's certainly not great. So I would definitely, you got old baseboards and they're different sizes. So definitely if you look at this little noticeable information here, I would certainly put all new base in here. I would, you look at the ceiling and these old vents, paint the whole thing white, change out these old light fixtures. I hate when people leave all these nails and holes in the wall and someone goes to paint. Pull that stuff out. It's a very simple thing when you're working on it. As you're walking on the floor, I like to roll my feet through here and you can feel the imperfections in the tile work. So you want to look at any foundational issues. So I like to do, you know, I can work out at the same time, do some skaters, feel how that floor feels, maybe turn on some music, get it going. I got 2 left feet in terms of my dance skills. But yeah, you know, I mean, I won't hit the gym today because I can come through here, see how things are feeling. All right, we're doing good, we're doing good. Floor's a little imbalanced, so is my dance skills, but that's okay. All right, let's see what else is going on. They put up some different colors here. A little pantry here. Forgot to knock and see if anyone's here. I didn't announce ourselves so no one shoots us. Okay. Little hot water heater. Doesn't look super old in here in this utility room. It's a little tight, but come on in here and check this out. So that's that. We got to think about where's the laundry room. I haven't seen that yet. That may be, who knows where that's at. Bedroom, missing doors. definitely right away, you smell a cat smell. I have a strong, even I have a cold right now, I can smell that cat smell. So we need doors, carpet, paint, urination, elimination. This is the same tile. A lot of times people work with different tiles and whatnot. Where's the lights in here? Be amazing today. Look at this. Vandy's old school. Flooring's a cheap laminate plank. These were stained. They're okay. Not great. Probably pull this out. But they put in a new surround, which isn't too bad. So that's okay. Rock and roll there. This is not horrible, but it's definitely kind of coming up. You can feel as it's pouncing up. So that's that. Another bedroom here, missing closet doors. What do they got up in here? Traffic Master. What is this? They're gonna put down some sort of probably laminate product in here. That didn't bode well for them. And let's see what else. We got our master. You know what we're missing, folks? Where is the laundry? There's no laundry. We should look in the kitchen. Sometimes they do the connections in there as well. And then here's the master. Decent size. Needs a new back door. Clearly this is not to code. It doesn't even block by some sort of piece of junk. So you need new doors, texture, paint, flooring, returns, closet doors, kitchen. So all of a sudden these things are cycling through my head. Lighting fixtures, you know, go from there. This vanity was painted. This bath in here. Check this out. This stuff doesn't even move. Is power not on? Is water not on? I don't think so. Maybe they turned off the water. It could be. Let's see if it's turned off in here too. Yeah, I think that water's turned off. Okay, it's got a master bath, nothing sexy, old school floors, needs mirrors, lights, etc. Let's check out the yard. Let's figure out the laundry situation and go from there. Whoever did the painting, again, you can tell did some shoddy work. You always want to look at the edges and whatnot. But this is interesting. As I'm standing here, why is this the only way to the backyard? What happened? Why is this blocked off here? Let's check out and see what's going on. This seems odd to me. Something's weird about this house. Again, it feels good from the outside, and then all of a sudden it starts to go downhill. So you got a great little place. So if the only way to get to the backyard is through the master, it's a little weird. I find that odd. Oh, so they had their washer dryer in here. You can see the hookup as we speak. This is an odd place to have it, but the other reality is maybe you can move it into the hall. So you always want to think about maximizing the floor plan. So you could almost take this space in here, move the hot water heater into the garage area, and put your washer and dryer in here. I think would be the best move. In my opinion, it looks like they ran some new PEX piping in here. So just an idea in these homes, you never want to have your washer dryer inside the kitchen. It's just very dysfunctional. So that's that. Let's see again, access to the yard, and then go from there. That is the whole yard. That's interesting. So you only get to the backyard through that master. That's very odd. Very strange. Odd. Now you have, in fairness, you do have a nice block fence. You go through the master. It would be nice to have access from other capacities from the home. It's just dysfunctional just to go through the master. But I will say, the outside's got good curb appeal. We know the neighborhood well. Again, I almost bought this house. I own that one there, and I own the one across the street. So I know what it is. I've never paid this much as what the guy's wanting for this home. It's too much in my opinion, but I will talk to him and see if we can negotiate a deal. But I have to factor, hey, new kitchen, bathrooms, paint, carpet, relocating the laundry room and going from there. But you got a classic 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,400 some change square feet. I do like the parking aspect, but there's some things that we need to work on to make this deal work. So that's where we're at. When I pull this base up here. This is not an efficient way of locking a door. Do you see this little mechanism on here? Remind me to sanitize the hands. If we're gonna go get tacos after this, I ain't using these hands. These are the money makers, not the money breakers. All right, we're looking at this roof. Looks okay. Anytime you paint and stain the spotted wood, this will never pass what's called an FHA inspection. where this wood starts flaking in there, most of the buyers in here are gonna go FHA. So you have to make sure that the home in which you're selling is gonna conform to the target market you're selling to. In this case, it's most likely again gonna be an FHA buyer. So I'm looking at all the details that I'm gonna have to bring to code to make sure that again, on my exit strategy, if I decide to sell this one, how I can get it to that capacity. So super interesting. Again, the only access to the backyard is through this master. I don't love that. Here's a little small electrical panel, sub-breaker, sub-meter. Odd, what's going on here? Maybe they can put some we got all these different blocks and some extra storage here. I just want to figure out, could we gain another access to the yard? Maybe through this other, here, if we took out, just always like playing with floor plans. You always put in a door through this one as well. So here's one other aspect. In the other room, you could do some sort of slider French door in order to create another access point to the yard. So 2 rooms of the 3 have access, but it's still odd. I like traditionally have some sort of direct flow. But again, sometimes, you know, you can overthink it. You do have single pane windows, nothing great there. And you will need custom doors. This is a random height for those sliders. So again, missing trims. The longer you spend in a home, again, when you rush something, you start looking at all the little details of everything that you need. All of a sudden, trim and house, you know, if you feel these doors, all of a sudden I pull this forward, look on the back side here. You start looking at things. Look at this baseboard. This baseboard's 1 inch. The other baseboard is, you know, 3 1/4. All of a sudden, there's no, you know, uniformity in the home. Who has these drawstrings? You can hang themselves on this stuff. So the longer you spend and start analyzing and detail it, the more it's going to take to bring the home up to, you know, proper pricing and conforming to what you want to sell it for. So definitely take your time, especially if it's one of your first investments, to fully analyze, you know, the investment, the opportunity, the acquisition, to make sure that it's going to conform and work for your investment or whatever your strategy is for a buy or for a flip. For me, I look at them in both capacities. This could easily be a rental or it could be a flip. If I flip it, the return's really not going to be great right out of the gate. You know, you hope for some future appreciation. I don't base my acquisitions on a lot of appreciation. I just base on a stagnant market, which means that I'm not buying just, I'm hoping for appreciation. I'm buying, you know, based on return. So if I rent this out at $1,400 a month, you know, maybe I'll make 7% of my money. It's nothing super exciting unless I can negotiate with the seller and bring the price down. All right, let's see the rest of the yard and the roof. So basic landscaping back here. One thing that's nice, I will say, like, look, brand new gate, nice side gate over there. I mean, there's $800. The other nice thing is you got a block wall coming all the way throughout here, which I like. There's definitely money there. You got some nice plants over here, which is nice. Roof looks okay. Windows are definitely weak. But you got a little grassy area here. I mean, it's not bad. It does smell like smoke. Look at the electrical panel. That's also teeny. That's a small panel for this box. You definitely have to upgrade that. You know, the more you sit here, you start calculating stuff, it adds up. You know, look at this little panel. This thing is an old school, you know, box. It's teeny. You gotta upgrade this panel. So, you know, that could be $1,500 or $2,000 right there. So, there's the deal. You know, do I love this house? No, I don't love it. Do I like it? Could it work at the right numbers? You never want to fall in love with anything. You want to take emotions out of it and just stick to the numbers. Again, you can get looped in. You walk up to the house. Oh, it's exciting. Oh, I own 3 other ones around the corner. Great. But at the end of the day, let's back up. Let's look at the numbers. Does it make sense? Does it conform to what you're trying to achieve? Does it meet those criteria? If it does, it's black and white. You take away all the color out of it. Yes or no. Or if it's a no, where does it become a yes? What is the number? Where does it need to be negotiated to? So that's it. So stick to your numbers, stick in the black and white zone, take the emotion out of it, and just look at the raw data.
So what are you doing? Why are you taking photos?
Just to remind myself of all the imperfections of the home. So when I'm going back to analyze and give the number to the wholesaler, I have to recall and say, okay, here's the imperfections of the home. Every home has imperfections, but this is why I need to be at this number. No wholesaler says, hey, what's your number? and you can't justify it, I'll justify it all day long. Here you go, electrical panel, moving the plumbing for the appropriate laundry room. You're gonna do laundry and cook eggs at the same time right next to each other? How's your egress and ingress to the backyard? You're only gonna, every time someone wants to go to the backyard, they're just gonna go through the master bedroom. All right, so I need to channel another way of getting exterior access to the property, possibly upgrading the windows to dual pane. I could go on and on and on. I need to upgrade the flooring, the baseboards, the texture, the paint, the cabinets in the kitchen, and so forth. I could put together a $30,000 budget on this thing in 30 seconds. Literally 30 seconds, I could spend 30 grand on this house. Okay, if I'm gonna rent it, maybe I spend 20, but it definitely needs significant upgrades. Outside's fine, it's got good appeal, etc., little landscaping, but all in all, it's the inside. It's like that surgeon cut you open, and you expect, all right, let's just fix the valve. Well, it's not just the valve. You got another aorta or whatever it is that needs to be addressed. So while I'm in there, I'm gonna address it all. Again, time is money. I'm not gonna just fix the one valve if 3 of them are broken. We're gonna fix it all at once. So good economies of scale, time is money, get it done right the first time. And I'm not gonna deal with tenant issues if I decide to rent it, or if I sell it, I can have a good inspection and not have to worry about those bins or items and then bringing back the guys at the very end. When I say bins, I'm talking about the home inspection, the buyer's inspection notice, and the seller's response. So again, when your guys are there, just do it right the first time. Don't put on Band-Aids, do it right, and you'll get compensated accordingly. It's called an investment for a reason. You're investing in the property for the future longevity of some level of return, whether it be short-term or long-term annuity of monthly payments that's gonna benefit you and your family and your successors. So do it right. So what I'm doing right now is I'm texting the wholesaler. I'm telling him, hey, this is my number, and here's why. Again, I'm justifying those things that we walked. It's good when it's fresh in your head. I'm looking again, it needs closet doors, it needs texture, it needs, outlets, baseboards, carpet, urine removal smell, smoke smell. I mean, all these things add up. It's missing all the cover plates and returns. So it just goes on and on and on and on. I mean, not forever, but again, every toilet has a seat, so it's just important to dictate that. Here we go, let's see the air. Let's see if this thing's gonna do something. Here we go, turn on the heat. Let's see if it's, when you're here, you might as well go through the motions of testing stuff, because when I'm buying, I'm removing any and all contingencies and inspections. So I'm here, I have my chance now to look at it and give my number. So let's see what happens. Sounds like it's turning on. Airflow, no nothing. Just another thing to think about. If that ain't working right now, you got a problem. Just another issue to think about, right? Mm-hmm. So you're here, you might as well click the buttons, run the power, flush the toilets, do as much due diligence as possible when you're in a property, when you have the opportunity, right? So always take your time, analyze, make sure your mind is clear so you're making a good, favorable investment decision. Estoy pensando para comprar este.
¿Estás pensando ya lo compraste?
¿Qué? A agarrar. Chile, mate chile, mira.
¿Isla? ¿Una isla?
What I said. Una isla, lo mismo. Pero aquí el problema es que pusiste los lavadores secadores encima de la cocina.
¿Lo podemos mover para otro lado?
Sí, exacto. Mira.
Vamos a buscarlo más.
So, puedes ponerlo aquí.
No cabe. Bueno, puedes ponerlo, pero nomás va a caber una...
No, pero porque no.
¿Tienes espacio? ¿Para qué lado? ¿Cierra?
Sí tiene espacio porque tiene gabinetes aquí.
Oh, tienes razón.
So puedes ponerlo de todo este lado hasta ahí y ya está bien. Y puedes extender.
Con un shell y ya queda.
Este está bien, no hay problema.
Este se puede quedar.
Sí. Eso está bien con este pintados.
Ya, se ve bien.
Más o menos. Pero lo único otro problema con la casa es la única manera para la salida de la yarda. ¿No piensas que este es el gran problema?
No creo.
See, I think it's a big problem that you're going through the master, but other people may not think so.
Está bien.
Es chico.
Pero puede ser. No es bien.
Okay. Ya es mío. Ya compré la casa ahora mismo. I just bought the house. I was negotiating on the phone while we were doing all that. I just got confirmation. You can see. Congrats. Sorry to hear that, but you said 170. Can you close 1262? No problem. Send me this, Simon. Congrats. There you go. Hey guys, Zach with Zack Ventures here. Thank you so much for coming along today. Remember, anyone that has a distressed deal like this or any deal that wants me to evaluate and buy, I'm the #1 buyer here in Maricopa. Hit me up. Additionally, I'm also looking at doing maybe a mini course in terms of real estate acquisitions and holds and flips. So any of that type of information, or you're interested in that in terms of education, let me know what you'd like to learn and see. Comment below. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and like the videos. Lastly, in terms of this particular home, I'm already blowing up. I may have already sold this house that we bought. The numbers look like this. I'm buying this house for $170,000. The guy wanted $172,500. I stuck to my number, $170 black and white. I'll probably put in maybe $12,000 to $15,000 depending on how far I take it, and the exit's around $220,000. So I also have potential renters that may want to rent this at $1450 a month. So I will always have some level of equity, even if I rent it in there. So I'm not going to over improve the property, which I want to make sure that I don't overdo it, and go from there. So again, basic numbers: $170 plus closing costs, call it $172, maybe $15, $197, $220. It's not my typical 10% yield on the back end, but I do like having economies of scale by having this house and another rental house out there. And so if I'll have some back end equity in it and I sell it in the future, it would meet my financial criteria based on a long-term hold. So most likely you'll see that I'm going to stabilize the asset through remodeling, put a tenant in there, and then capture my equity long-term gain in a year or two after that. That is my fundamental strategy on this particular home on Lamar. I'm closing on this in 2 weeks, so it's a fast close. These deals happen very, very quickly. Wholesalers want to know. I told them by the end of the day you'll have an answer. You saw it live. You walked in it with me for the first time. I analyzed it. I responded. People want a fast yes or a fast no. No maybes, and if not, give them a number. And that's what we did. We worked it out, and it's a win-win deal. Hopefully that helps you on your acquisitions. I wish you the best of luck, and let's turn some trash into some cash. Have a good weekend.